as default for some reason. There we go. So yeah, give that a second. Give that a second to thingy up. And hopefully everything should be hunky-dory. But a bit closer, there we go. So, yeah, I'll explain, there we go, yeah. Yeah, the live stream just before, for some reason, it was set to guest mode, where where you can have multiple people on a live stream together, which it's fine, but I didn't have anyone set up, so it didn't know what to do, and it kind of just went a bit hazy. So yeah, I'll explain what this live stream is about when everyone shows up. And apologies if I sound a bit croaky and if I look a bit flushed and that. I've got really bad hay fever at the minute, so yeah, I'm not gonna sound the greatest, and I don't look. I'm using an old tablet to do this live stream from. I'm using my old tablet to do this from. So yeah, the video quality, at least on my end, when I'm looking at it, doesn't look actually too bad. Although, then again, it is quite bright in this room. It is quite bright in this room, so hopefully everything in that should all run hunky-dory and that. But if anything is going awry, you know, be patient with me on this one. So we've got a lot of things to talk about. I'm going to be talking about more in detail about the announced today Underwater Menace animation, which got, you know, a few things to say about that, a few questions as well, and we're going to be talking about more about the retail version of the 14th Dr. Sonic, the pricing and that, and then something a bit personal to me, and you know, which is also going to be affecting the channel slightly. Yeah, I've had another issue, and things have kind of been going a little bit shit the past week, this week. So, you know, hopefully things improve. Nothing, you know, that hopefully can't be sorted out and that, but we'll see as we go on. So yeah, I'll just give it another minute. I should also probably tweet this out and that as well. That would be a great idea. That'd be a great idea to tweet this. No, exit out now, because it's fucking X now. It's even on my phone, it's now X. So yeah, let's post that. Line. Streaming. No. There we go. Yeah. Right. Get on that window's going. Okay, so hello everyone. So yeah, this is a last replacement live stream for. Oh, I've got a call coming in. Give me a second. Hello.
Where are you?
Gray's apartment.
Right, I can bring some toilet rolls as well. You got some toilet rolls.
Bring some where?
Because I forgot.
Yeah, I can bring some. Text us to remind us, please.
Alright, bye.
Right. My mum asking us to bring some toilet rolls home because we've ran out. Great. Anyway, so yeah. I'll get on to the first thing, which is the reason why this live stream is actually happening. Is because I didn't actually plan to do a live stream today, and I was actually planning on doing another video, in fact, but unfortunately I can't at the minute, and that is because this week I noticed my main hard drive that I have all of my videos from, I think it's from 2017 onwards, I think. No, it's not. It might be. No, 2021 I think it is onwards, I think. Or at least I've got all the raw footage. Anyway, my main hard drive, which I've been using for years and years and years, which is an 8 terabyte hard drive. I noticed it had been freezing up a few times, and sometimes it just happens just because Windows, whatever. But it had been getting worse, and it's nearly full in that as well. So I was going to wait until Black Friday or whatever, get a new hard drive, upgrade it, blah blah blah. But I thought I ran Crystal Dismark on it, and I noticed something. The health of the drive was under caution. Not critical, not bad, but caution. And it was also running a bit hot as that as well. And it just basically, I don't want to use that hard drive. I don't want to risk using it at the minute because basically it could die. It could die if I try using it too much in that now. So yeah, I have ordered a new 8 terabyte external hard drive, which hopefully, and I've unplugged my current 8 terabyte one. I've unplugged it and let it cool down, let it rest, and now it just has to last long enough to copy everything from that one to the new one. So hopefully all the videos and all the stuff from that will be transferring that, and we'll keep it all on there, including all of my big finishes are on there. Actually, all of my big finishes are on there. And not all of them I could re-download. Not all of them I can re-download because some of them are ones that friends have sent me. Some of them, because I have this thing where basically I've had this thing in the past where, I can't afford to buy all the big finishes. You probably can't afford to buy all the big finishes. So it was kind of like a case of, okay, I'll buy, like, for example, all of the Watermaster box sets, and someone else will buy, okay, I'm going to buy all of them, and then we'll share them around in that. And I don't know if they still have theirs or not. I don't know, because the people I was getting them from, and I haven't actually spoken to them in quite a while, because some of them were people I was at school with. Yeah, it just happens where you just kind of lose contact and that. But anyway, those are all on there. So, gotta get them off and gotta get a lot of other stuff on there. All my music and that was on there, although most of my music is on my phone. But there was some stuff on there and that as well, so hopefully that can all go off. But then, importantly, I noticed another hard drive, one of my other hard drive, my second oldest hard drive I've got, which is a 3 terabyte one, which has all of my Doctor Who rips on there. All of the Blu-ray rips, all the Blu-ray box sets and everything. They could all go. That one's actually still working perfectly fine, thankfully, so I've left that one plugged in, but I needed to upgrade that one anyway, because that one, again, nearly full, so we got a bit of storage left. But that has some rare Doctor Who stuff on there. Some of it basically is some of it was near impossible to find. So yeah, I can see I'm boring people with that information. So yeah, but basically, I may have to hold off on doing some videos and that. At least bigger videos and that in a while, ones that require editing and that, or any footage, because the footage is all on there. So anyway, let's get on to the main thing. So, the Macro Tower was announced today, which again came out of nowhere, and yeah, it's not Sun and Moon, but it's basically using the assets that were created in that with Sun and Moon, and yeah, I don't know. Just looking at that snippet trailer, only shows a couple of shots in that snippet trailer there. It kind of makes me worried, because obviously the problem I have with some of the animations is they try to go far too overambitious and that. And I know, you're not limited. You shouldn't have to completely limit yourself to it, but the problem is that when they go too overly ambitious, it doesn't match the audio at all. It does not match what the original audio is at all. And prime example of that is Abominable Snowman's finale, which has this, has him bloody levitating and glowy orb and everything, just like, yeah, no. And also, weirdly, they changed, like, almost all of the character designs from the original actors, which, yeah, I don't know why they did that. I know with some of them, it was the excuse was, oh well, to make them the actual race they are, but you could still make them the race that they were basically blacked up and that to be, but still, maintain the act, because they get that with some of them and not others. It's just completely weird. That one really, I was just scratching my head at that one. I was thinking, what? So, yeah, I don't know what they did with that one. Anyway, so yeah, the thing is though, the number one thing I was thinking is because out of all the animations you could have done, you could have chose, that was the one you chose. Just why? And I know the reason will be, oh, it's easier and that. The thing is, there are other ones that are easier to do that people, more wanting than that, to be honest. So, yeah. And the fact is, they're doing all 4 animated episodes, which I don't know who's funding this. Obviously, the BBC will be putting money in it to themselves, but I don't know who's co-funding this, because it's not BBC America. So if it is just the BBC themselves, which is possible, the thing with it is it's you could have. I would have rather them saved some money and just done 2 of the episodes, and use that money to do another 2 animated episodes for something else. That would be me personally. Yeah, and there's going to be a bloody cropped version of the black and white version, isn't there? Again, it doesn't mention that. But it probably will be. If it's not, great. If it is, I mean, I can sort it out myself by ripping it and then basically grayscaling the 16:9 color version, which thankfully with Handbrake it's just a little tick box, which makes things so much easier. So then I don't have to put it through an editor first. But still, it is a bit of a pain in the ass to do, rather than getting it, pop the disc in, where I can watch it. Shit, full. Because the thing is, it's just it's not really authentic to begin with, because if you're making all these changes and that to the actual animation, to the story, and one, it's animated. For one, if you're watching a full animation, it's fully animated. And 2, it's just just make it as is. Either make it 4:3 or make it 16:9. Don't crop it. And I take that also in reverse as well, when they have something that's 4:3 and they crop it to 16:9. Probably the most famous example of that is The Simpsons on Disney Plus, which thankfully has the option to turn that off. Thankfully, so yeah, they get. But just I don't like things that are cropped. Basically, I want it in the original aspect ratio. I do want it in the original aspect ratio. So, yeah. Back to the Future is actually a weird one though, because Back to the Future, theatrically, it was cropped. It was cropped to. Is it 16:9? I can't remember the exact aspect ratio. I think it is. But that's how it was theatrically. However, it was filmed in 4:3 as an open matte. And that open matte was used for television broadcasts and also the original VHS and Laserdiscs back in the day. Which meant that you actually got more of a frame in there. But I think every DVD release, I could be wrong about that, I'm pretty sure every DVD release, possibly not the very, very early ones, but I don't think so. But I think every DVD release, every Blu-ray release, and now the 4K release, They are all the cropped versions. They are all the cropped versions, those. Which is how the film was intended to be seen, because that is how it was theatrically seen and that. So yeah, be interesting to see one day if they did do an open max. I mean, what you could do, if you're really desperate for something like that, you could take the 4K Blu-ray. Well, I think you'd be better off with the regular Blu-ray, to be honest, to match it up, and take an open matte version off a Laserdisc, and max them up. Although, God, it would be very jarring. It would be very jarring, and it wasn't shot to be designed to be seen like that. So that one is a bit of a flaky one, anyway. With everything else, I know I went on a bit of a waffle on there, but yeah. I'm gonna have a read of the special features and that as well. 'Cause I didn't actually read them fully. I just kind of glanced over them. 'Cause I know some of them were reused. So, BBC News South today. Okay. To be honest, the Macro Terror. It's one of those DVDs I watched once, and that is when I got it for Christmas. I think it was when it came out. I think I got it, Christmas 2014. I watched it the once, and I never bothered with it again. I haven't bothered with it since. The only time I did, actually, was to rip it. That was the only other time I bothered with it. So, yeah. Was the VHS introduction included on the DVD release? I can't remember. But, yeah, basically, the thing I'm interested in most is the reconstructions of episodes 1 and 4. And the reason I'm interested in it is obviously because infamously they were the worst, and they were deliberately made to be worse because the team themselves said, look, we can do a better version at no extra cost. But they were told not to. They were told they were basically told to make it as shit as possible. They were told that they couldn't even put existing footage from episodes 1 and 4 in there. Which is just something bizarre, and I'm scratching my head to this day to say, why did someone at the BBC just decide, let's make it as shit as possible? But yeah, the thing is, Underwater Menace was actually supposed to get animated way back in 2013, I think it was. It was meant to get the 2 missing episodes were meant to be animated originally by Planet 55, who are now Big Finish Creative. But basically they basically didn't have the budget and that to do it by that point, unfortunately. So that's why that never happened, and that's why that release got delayed until late 2014, because they kind of just didn't know what to do with it. So yeah, put a pin in that, because I might come back to talking about that later. Anyway, let's talk about the retail version of the 14th Doctor Sonic, which has popped up for pre-order at the Who Shop. Now, it doesn't say when it's coming out, but the fact that it is up for pre-order, I imagine it'll either come in the next few weeks, maybe by the end of this month, or if not, early September, possibly. So, yeah, basically, that's what I'm predicting in my head. Now, the Who Shop is notorious for basically selling things above retail price. Like, look at basically anything retail on there, and you'll see it's still normally slightly more expensive. Not much, but still like a couple of quid more. So the price could be $14.99. It could be that it is just $17.99, which wouldn't surprise me, especially with inflation. Basically, the way things are going, it could be $14.99 because retail releases, they can normally drop the price down a little bit more, and the reason is because loads of retailers, are buying it and stuff like that. Well, I say loads, more of them are in terms of that. So places you can expect Forbidden Planet basically will no doubt get this. They also might charge slightly more. Maybe not, but they have been known to. Other places, possibly Argos. B&M, probably. Probably. Especially considering, the new B&M sets, which still haven't officially been announced. Which is probably right around the corner. I can see them being stocked there. For example, they did get the 13th Doctor Sonic and that as well. Trying to think of other places that could possibly have it. I mean, maybe Tesco, maybe Smith's Toys, because again, they did stock the 13th Doctor Sonic at one point. Though whether they're interested, I don't know. Other retailers I'm just trying to think of. Possibly John Lewis. Unlikely. If it was 5 years ago, then yes. John Lewis and Phoenix, probably not. I'm just trying to think of other places, and that's off the top of my head that could possibly stock it. Be More Geek, which, if you live outside of the Northeast, you'll not have any, although they do have a website where you can order from. They will probably stock it, but again, a lot of the time they do go slightly above retail price, but they might stock it. Yeah, I'm gonna have a quick drink. I feel like a monster. If anyone knows that song by Skillet, then well done. But yeah, I will pick up the retail release, and to be honest, I'll probably pick up a couple to be honest. And the retail release will pretty much be the one that I take around with me. That'll be the one that I take around with me because, as much as I like the Chrome one, I don't want to get that one damaged, and it won't be it's not as cheap or easy at the minute to replace now. So yeah, but the retail one does, and that interests me. Plus, I might, with that one, I'll probably there's still no official word on whether the Gotsu 60th anniversaries are coming to cinemas. They might. To be honest, I'd be more surprised if they didn't come to cinemas, considering that the 50th anniversary specials went really well in cinemas. Like, they went really well, because I know, because my local Odeon was only initially going to be doing one screening of it. They were originally just going to do one screening of it, and that was one of my local Odeons. And so, that's booked it there and there, which it wasn't cheap. It was not cheap. Although it was cheap compared to now. Because I remember it was £50 for me, my mum and dad, and brother and sister, who all went. All five of us went. And, at the time going, God, £50 for all five of us. That would be a good deal now, ironically. That would be a good deal, because now it would probably be... Like, for example, I went to go see Doctor and the Daleks and Dark's Invasion Earth, which I did see at the cinema. Unfortunately, I'd already seen Doctor and the Daleks on 4K Blu-ray by that point. I'd already seen, but still a great experience to see it in the cinema. Though there was barely anyone. But anyway, when I went to go see the 50th, when I came out, I saw a huge line of people going out of the cinema and into the shopping centre, because this Odeon was part of like a big shopping. It was a huge amount of people, and I asked the person. I said I thought there was only one screening of the Doctor Who 50th anniversary, and he went, "Oh yeah, there was, but since it sold out so quickly, we ended up having 4 screenings tonight." So they had 4 screenings of it in one night when they were originally have one. So yeah, it sold 4 times as well, at least at my one. than they initially planned on, so they had to open at 4. Interesting though, saw quite a fair few people who were wearing the fezzes, and people who had a few people had a bow tie and that. But most of them didn't. Most of them. I was the only. I was dressed as the Fourth Doctor, and my brother was dressed as the 10th Doctor in the 10th Doctor suit and that. Thing is, we got weird looks in the cinema. We got weird looks. Too many normies in there. Too many normies. Just like, just like, what are you dressed? Although, be honest, like it was just my normal clothes. To be honest, by that point. But yeah, that's a fun story from way back then. So yeah, hopefully. Although, interestingly though, I wonder how they're going to do it, because obviously the 60th anniversary is going to be a trilogy. We also don't know the length of each one. It could be an hour each, or they could be 75 minutes each, or 90 minutes. It's going to be one of those three. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see, like, or just like how they do it, because just like, are they just going to do it week after? Because they're going to air week after week after week in November. That's how they're going to air. However, obviously in the cinema, are they going to do them all separately? I don't imagine they'll do that. I imagine they'll probably just do one after the other. So it will probably be either after all three have gone out or when the third one goes out, possibly. So I don't know. Plus the cinema version might be where they have them all edited together. I doubt it though, but we'll see. I probably will still see it at the cinema regardless. And yeah, hopefully they'll get 4K Blu-rays. Maybe. Just like kind of just like lukewarm on that, because hopefully they've gone all out in that with it, and they did go back and reshoot a couple of bits when the Disney Plus deal went in. They actually went back, and I don't know if they reshot something or they added some new effects. Might have been both, but I think it was Russell T Davies talking about how when they got the go ahead, when they got the deal with Disney Plus, they actually thinks they got more money, and that they actually went back to something, and that on the 50th thing that Meeks did something different. So it'll be interesting. It's also interesting to this day, for whatever reason, and this reason still baffles me to this day, that one of the deleted scenes from the 50th anniversary, which is officially available on the Doctor Who official YouTube channel, is not on any of the Blu-ray releases. Not the original Blu-ray release, not the 50th anniversary collector's edition, whether that was the original version or the Steelbook version, released a year or two ago, I think it was. It must have been 2 years ago, at least. So, yeah. Why that wasn't included, I don't know. Because surely it's not a rights issue, because one, it's on the website. It's on the website, so it's just something I think has just been completely overlooked for whatever reason. I don't know why, but yeah, I'd be interested to see just like why that wasn't released. But yeah, there we go, and hopefully one day they'll re-release series 1 through 6 with the full-length confidentials on there. Now, they may need to be edited slightly to remove copyrighted music. Although saying that, a lot of the copyrighted music is still in there. Like, for example, on the complete specials, they play various, like, I remember, in End of Time Part 2, confidential, like, they literally play I think they play, is it Take That Back for Good they play? I don't know. It is a Take That, I remember they do play a Take That song in full. on that one, like to end that one. So yeah, which is on there in full. So interesting. I mean, BBC kind of have a little bit of a leeway since they're publicly funded, so they do have a leeway in basically using copyright material on broadcasts, not though on physical releases or even streaming releases. So yeah, they've got a little bit of a loophole where a lot of the time they don't need to have permission and that to use copyright material. Although obviously that could be going away with the license fee going away in 2028, I think it is. It's either 2027 or 2028, one of the two. Interesting to see what happens there, whether the BBC becomes like channel... I imagine it'll probably become more like Channel 4. I imagine where, you know, it's still got public funding and that, but it has advertisements. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows what the BBC and that become by then. But, yeah. And honestly, my voice is absolutely going away because my hay fever has absolutely been a nightmare this week. Yeah, suffering hay fever is bloody horrible. Anyway, so yeah, to make matters worse, also I had an issue with my XM4 earphones, which one of them, for some reason, the chip in it that basically determines the battery life was going a bit wobbly. Thankfully, I sorted that out. But yeah, it just seems I've had a lot of problems on that this week and everything. So yeah, things. Oh, I forgot. Obviously, we've got the season 20 Blu-ray box set, which I don't think has got a confirmed release date now. Taking that pin out again and going back to Underwater Menace, that has a release date in November. I don't think it has a confirmed date. I could be wrong, but when I ordered mine, it just said a coming soon, and then the article came out said it's coming out in November. I imagine, well, obviously it'll be before the 50th anniversary, 60th anniversary. So yeah, that'll obviously be to coincide with that. I imagine it'll come out a week or two beforehand. But yeah, I've pre-ordered the Steelbook. No artwork reveal yet. Hopefully that'll come soon. And yeah, we'll see, because the standard releases of the animations have been notorious for having some of the laziest, shittest cover art I've seen. Yeah, a lot of them have been bad. The only ones that have been good, in my opinion, have been the Shada one, which that one was really nice, that one. And I do quite like I like the original. I like the two Power the Daleks versions that they did. The original, the Blu-ray Steelbook, and also the special edition. I think the Blu-ray Steelbook is my favourite. The original Blu-ray Steelbook, I think, is my favourite out of them. Those ones I did like, but then after that, they just kind of got lazier and lazier until you literally just got stuff like Evil of the Daleks, which is basically just like, here are character profiles put on a red background. Done. It's just like, Just like, is that the best you could have done? You know? Just like, you sure you don't want to spend another 5 minutes on that? Because it does honestly feel like it was just literally put these character profiles and that on there, put the Dark Emperor profile and that on there, red background there, done, sorted. That's just what it felt like. So yeah, actually, you know, Web of Fear was nice. I do like Web of Fear's one. That one was. Although then calling that an animated reconstruction one is pitiful. But the cover on that one was nice. I do like the cover artwork on that one. I have been ignoring the comments until this point, so I'll go and read all the comments. So, if it's just a hi or hello to everyone who said hi or hello, I'm just going to skip those just for now, otherwise I'll be here all day. Bagel4 says, I'm watching this on a coach in Brighton. Wow. I am surprised you can get a signal on a coach in Brighton. That's impressive that you can actually get a signal to actually watch a live stream. Because I can tell you, a lot of places I go to, bloody signal dead zone, especially any coastal-like areas. And coaches and that as well just seem to be like. Did you buy the new Sonic? Caffrey Jack says. I'm assuming you mean the retail version. I'm not buying it from the Who shop. I'm not, because one, I'd have to pay delivery anyway. But two, I want to see it in person because, I don't want to get damaged or anything like that. I want to be able to see it in person to make sure there's no damage on that or anything to it. I want to make sure that the button... Actually, here's a story. So, I discovered, and a lot of people have this, including my friend, so a lot of people have been reporting that the button on their 14th Doctor Sonic, the online exclusive version, is either misaligned or a bit faulty, including my one, the one I kept sealed. The button is misaligned. Basically, the actual micro switch is slightly too far down because basically, if you press a certain part of if you press the button down pretty hard and downwards, it'll operate. But otherwise, if you just try it normally, it doesn't. And that's why I thought initially the batteries were dead, but they're not. My friend, his Sonics have the same problem. He ordered 3 of them actually. He got 3 of them, and all of his had that issue. Now, I decided to ring up Character about it, and I said to them, I told them the problem, and they said, oh yes, we're very sorry about that. They said, if you send it back, we will then send out a replacement. I said, how come you can send out a replacement? They're sold out at the minute. And they said, oh, we've got some extra stock behind. I went, how much extra stock have you got behind? They said, oh, we've got loads and loads of them. I went, really? Because obviously they will not have loads and loads of them. They'll maybe have, I'd say, probably I'd say around 10% of their overall, order would be that. So, for example, if they had 1,000, they have 100 of them or something like that. But I imagine it's probably 100, 200 that they have in case of basically any orders that go wrong. But I said to them, can you not send it out first and then I'll send that one back? And they went, no, it's against our policy. And I said to them, but I don't feel comfortable, sending that out and then you sending another one to me, because for all I know, by the time you receive mine, it could be out. You could have just completely diminished your stock by then, and then I'd have to wait for them, to get restocked, which could be months and months away. So, yeah, but she sent me she said, oh, well, that's just, what you've got to do. So she sent me an email where you have to pay the postage and then they'll refund you. Yeah, no postage label. You have to pay the postage and then they'll refund you it, which is just like something I don't want to do. So I decided, you know what? It's a one I'm keeping sealed. I'll just leave it. But God forsake the people who only, have who only, have one out and that's their main one. Just like, wouldn't want to deal with that. I mean, if it was my only one and it wasn't the one I was keeping sealed, probably I maybe would. I don't know. I was in 2 minds. But yeah. Then there's also been recently, I don't know if people have seen it, someone has got a faulty sonic screwdriver where basically it actually changes colour as they extend it. So when they extend the sonic, it actually changes colour. And one of the colours it changes to is purple. Now people say it's faulty wiring. It's not actually faulty wiring, it'll be a faulty board. And what will be happening is when they push it up, the wires will basically be pulling on the board, which probably isn't glued in place or something like that. And that is what is making it change colour. And you're probably thinking, how can it change colour? Well, basically, these will be the sonic screwdriver has at least 3 multicoloured LEDs in there. So basically, they'll be able to change a variety of different colours. And obviously, even though purple will not be used, it'll be something they're capable of doing. So that is how that sonic screw on that came out. So yeah, that their one was a very unique case. So yeah, we'll see in that with that. So anyway, but to answer the question, so yeah, I'm gonna wait until I can see it in a shop. I can see it in a shop, and to be honest, even if it's £1 or 2 more in a shop, I'd rather get it in a shop. Simply because, I don't know what condition it will arrive to me in. Plus, unless it's, somewhere like Amazon or somewhere like that, then I'd have to pay delivery anyway, so... Bagwell4 says, hope everything personal is okay with you, man. It's being a little bit stressful at the minute. So, as I mentioned before, I've had issues with not one but 2 hard drives which are dying on me right now. One of them is my main one, which has got all of the YouTube videos and all of the footage going back to 2021 on there. It has all of my big finishes on there, and then the other one, which is still working fine, but is the oldest hard drive I have. I think it's 10 years old this year. That has all my Dot 2 rips and that on there, including some of the rarer stuff. I have ordered a replacement. I'll be probably ordering another replacement as well, which is costing me an absolute fortune. So, yeah. Because unfortunately hard drives are not really on sale at the minute. But, I've got to do it, and I'm backing them up on that as much as I can. But it gets bloody expensive, unfortunately. Like, I'm not Linus Tech Tips or any of these other big YouTubers like Marquez and that who have big, massive NAS servers and that they can, have terabytes upon terabytes upon terabytes of just backups and backups. I don't have that kind of money. I don't have much money in that to begin with. Anyway, so yeah. And also, my granny is currently in hospital at the moment. She is fine. They're just basically keeping her in under observation to make sure she's alright. She should be coming home to her apartment, which is where I'm doing this live stream from, hopefully in the next few days. Unfortunately, the hospital she's at is actually a fairly new hospital. Unfortunately, there's only one bus that goes to that hospital. And annoyingly, that one bus that goes there, the last bus for that is at 6:20, which is really annoying. And annoyingly, I've got to get 2 buses there, and to make things even more annoying, even though I've got a bus pass, unfortunately, the hospital is just outside of where my bus pass covers. So yeah, annoying things. Although my granny is covering the bus fare for us when I go to visit her and that, but yeah, a lot of things. Ugh. I had to actually get her some headphones today for the hospital TVs, which are thankfully, unlike at the other hospital she's been at, the ones in this one are free. Because thank God, yeah. So I've got her some headphones and that as well, which are bloody expensive actually, what they are. I got a pair of Sony wired headphones with a really long model number, which were £20, and that as well. It's a shame she doesn't like earphones. If she had earphones, I could have got her some decent ones, for £7.99 rather than £20. But she wanted actual, headphones and that for her head. I got a really itchy nose because my hay fever's playing up. So yeah, stuff like that, stuff with the hard drives and that playing up. My earphones and that were playing up and that at the time. The sonic screwdriver fucking played up and everything. Expense. You know, yeah. Life like that just gets a bit after a while. So, yeah, I'm gonna hold my tablet on that for a second. So, let me. God, so much. I've got to have the window open because it's far too hot in here. The problem is it's letting all the pollen in, which is making me very sneezerific. Yeah. Bile, is it bile? I think that is. I agree. What a waste of money on surviving material when you can spend it on other episodes that don't have animations yet. Yeah. Now I can understand why they did them when BBC America was funding them, because the animated episodes were going to air on BBC America, and that just the animated episodes and that. So that makes sense, and it was something they were paying for, so they had every right to. So I can understand why. I can understand why with those. But if these are just BBC funded, which I imagine they possibly are, I mean, maybe Disney Plus has given them some money, I don't know. Or maybe it's something else, who knows. Because obviously BBC is not a co-owner of BritBox anymore. It is now solely ITV, although BBC still does basically license their content out to BritBox. So, yeah. Excuse me. So maybe it's that, I don't know. Bagwell says, I want them to spend the money on restoring Series 1 to... Restoring? What do you mean restoring? Like, do you mean... If you mean classic series, like seasons 1 to 4, but if you mean new series, like, there's not really much you can do, really. Because Series 1 to 4 were filmed digitally in standard definition. So, and they've already done some upscaling to them, which basically does nothing. It basically does what your TV and that does. I'm going to scratch my nose with this, because I don't want to use my finger. There's nothing really more you can do to them, to be honest. Like, they're basically looking as best as they're going to look before you do AI upscaling, which you shouldn't do. You shouldn't do AI upscaling because it just loses all the textures and everything, and also the lighting and that particularly as well. So, yeah, in terms of new series, one to say, they're basically good as they're ever going to look. At least natively, anyway. Neil says, I think Crusade compared to Marco Polo is underrated masterpiece. Yeah, I'm not a fan of either. I'm just not a fan of the pure historicals. That's just my personal preference, but yeah, I'm just not a fan of the pure historicals. Never have been, unfortunately. So, yeah, not my thing. Although I would have loved to see the Highlanders, which actually gets me speaking into. So, that image I shared and that from the Ian Levine group. Ian Levine is funding 4 Doctor Who animations. So that was one of them. Another one, I think, is the Crusade, and there's another 2 he's funding, and that as well. And basically, the hope is to get them, either release them online, or sell them to the BBC, or get the BBC to put a bit of funding and that into them, which I hope they do. I don't know why they said no to him, like, if you don't remember, over a decade ago, he funded basically a pilot animation for Mission to the Unknown, and the BBC declined. So, yeah, hopefully Ian Levine, I mean, I know he's a controversial figure, but, just like, if he's putting money in these for fans, like, just like, get him released. But, yeah, hopefully these will get to fans and that, and get released somehow. So, Yeah, and I think that he's only doing them in black and white, as far as I'm aware. I think they're 4x3 black and white, which is fine by me. So yeah. No, Gum Bennett, you have not bought me on eBay because that would be slavery, and it's also against eBay's terms and service. Anyway, the Snowflake says, "What is your favourite Eighth Doctor series on Big Finish?" Um, I would say, well, in terms of eras, my favourite is the Lucy Miller era, and in terms of series, out of that, I would say Series 1 and Series 4, I'd say, are the best, with Series 2 just behind that. In fact, that was my introduction actually to Big Finish, was actually Blood of the Daleks. Actually, that was my introduction to Big Finish, because I listened to it, I think it was on a Radio 4 broadcast or something like that. Yeah, that was my first ever Big Finish. The Snowflake says, I'm currently listening to Doom Coalition. Just finish Absent Fangs. Yeah, Absent Fangs. Absent Fangs is probably the best story out of Doom Coalition. And that, I think the problem, the next box set, the Stranded box sets, the first one is the best. And then it just kind of stretches. Like, that was the problem with a lot of them Big Finish box sets that were 4 box sets. It's like, that are just one continuous story. It just like felt like it was stretching the story, like Ravenous. Felt like it was stretching the story quite a bit. I saw the problem with them, but Doom Coalition though was really good, and it felt like it had a bit more of a focus compared to Dark Eyes, which kind of lost focus about halfway through. Bile says, I'm very optimistic to see a Massacre animation, as very little of Season 3 is animated. Be interested to see the Massacre, because obviously, very little on that exists now of that, obviously, other than the soundtrack and that itself. Yeah, obviously the big one, obviously Season 3, is Dalek's Master Plan, which, hopefully one day. I mean, there are fan reconstructions and that, but like a full proper animation for the entire story, of like near like TV or near TV quality animation, you know. Hopefully that is something that will actually occur one day. So yeah, my granny, going back, says my granny actually she's like okay in that in herself. So yeah, but basically, I just need to basically observe her and that, and make sure she's like okay and fit and that to actually come back to her apartment, which should be should be soon. Should be soon, although it's being later than it should have been. So, we'll see. Gormite says, "What do you think they should do with the next series of Ninth Doctor stuff? Do you mean figures, or do you mean Big Finish, or what? I'm not sure, because I'll answer them both anyway. Because with Big Finish, I actually recently listened. I've listened to uh, 2 out of the 3 new Ninth Doctor stories out of the latest box set that came out, which I can't remember what it's called. What is that one called again? Yeah, Big Finish. I've listened. Let's get them up. Let's get them up. I'm actually annoyed that they stopped doing them on vinyl. Actually, that was although it did save me money. It did save me a lot of money by not doing the max, so there's that. Below there, and the Butler did it, which are both stories I do quite like, particularly the Butler did it, which is this one, which is an Agatha Christie style murder mystery, which, I quite like that one. The resolution kind of just happens. It just like, kind of just comes out of nowhere. But even the doctor admits just like he has no proof, so he gets the person to give the proof. But okay, but yeah, I haven't listened to the last one, which is Run, which features the return to Peladon, I believe, and the Ice Warriors and everything and that. So I've yet to listen to that one, but I've been enjoying the Ninth Doctor adventures have been pretty solid. The weakest one is the first one, Ravagers. And that, I think, is purely because, one, it goes on far too long. It's the only box set where it is one story across 3 episodes. So, essentially, it's a 3-hour story. Just under that. I think each episode on that is about 50 minutes. So, 2.5 hours long total, and it's just a bit too long. It's too long for that. Plus, also, with that one, Nick Briggs made it non-linear. And yeah, that's the thing with Nick Briggs. He is infamous for doing things non-linear. And the problem is, very rarely does that work. When it does work, it works really well. With Ravengers didn't really work. It just felt non-linear to just be non-linear. Which, I just didn't like as much. Yes, Liv does meet the Ninth Doctor in... Well, I can't remember the name of the box set. But that one takes place in an evil IKEA, essentially. And I'm not joking about that. Literally, they go to basically IKEA. Like, the description is basically IKEA. So yeah, that one is basically an evil IKEA. That's what that story is, where Liv appears. Yeah. And anyway, there's bloody things going on for ages, hasn't it? This thing is absolutely going for ages. Have I mentioned everything? Yeah. It's interesting also on the Who Shop page. It says pre-order there. But then if you scroll down, it just says product... says available under availability, which is interesting, to say the least. So maybe it's available now, I don't know. If people get sent them next week, then they will be coming in shops, and that pretty recent. I'm surprised the Got To merchandise page hasn't done anything about this yet, so interesting there. But I'm imagining, Amazon's the place I forgot to mention. It'll probably be available on Amazon and that as well, I imagine, because they always get everything. I don't think your videos are bad. Well, maybe some Doctor Who. Rather than just getting one big hard drive, just get loads of one. No, it is not worth. It's actually more expensive to get loads of 1 terabyte hard drives. For example, a 1 terabyte hard drive, brand new, new condition, and that can be anywhere from like £35 to £50. I ordered an 8 terabyte hard drive for £105. So yes, it was more expensive, but the cost per gigabyte was much less, or cost per terabyte if you want to call it that. So basically, you gotta find the sweet spot. You gotta find basically the sweet spots. Because if I jumped down to 6, then the price went to £85. So yeah, also The one I bought is a recertified one from WD themselves, which normally I don't trust stuff like that, but since it is from the manufacturer, and I've bought recertified drives from them before, and honestly, if you didn't tell me, I would have thought it was brand new, because all in the cellophane looked all brand new, works perfectly fine, and I've been using one of those for years, and it's worked fine, so yeah. Plus, I should use Crystal Disk Mark more, actually, for my hard drives as soon as... I'm not good, because to be honest, it's just one of those things where I just forget to use it, so I should probably use it more often to determine the health and that of my hard drives. I also need to get a USB hub and that as well. I need to get another USB hub, because, boy, the amount of hard drives I just had plugged in to that, because I've got all this stuff. I've got all this tons and tons and tons of stuff that on there, whether it be my own personal stuff or stuff I've ripped and that. Just, all on there in an archive. If I ever become a millionaire or win the lottery, just like one of the things I thought of, just like all the things, the crazy things, what would you buy if you won the lottery? Well, obviously, I'd have to get a Dalek. I'd have to get a full-size Dalek. But then after that, I am getting a NAS. I am getting a NAS. A big one. If I won the lottery. But yeah. Bill, I don't know, says, I wonder why B&M kind of Forbidden Planet are currently the only ones selling figures. When I say, I mean, this comment is really weirdly worded. I wonder why B&M and kind of Forbidden Planet are currently the only ones selling figures. When they say kind of, I mean Forbidden Planet were... Yeah, okay. The reason why... I don't know if you know this, but the reason why B&M are the only ones is because the figures are exclusive to B&M. So they can't be... That's why. Then, when B&M decides, oh, they're stuck, don't want it, that's when they start off to Forbidden Planet and back to character in a lot of cases. So, yeah, that's the reason why. It's because they're exclusive to them, because basically they couldn't really get anyone else interested. Because Forbidden Planets and that, they just weren't selling in that as well, so they kind of dropped out of it. And then Toys R Us kind of... People forget Toys R Us kind of picked up where Forbidden Planet originally left off at. Toys R Us, used to get exclusives. Doctor Who exclusive for quite a while. Up until, I think 2016 or possibly even early 2017, I think. So, yeah, people forget. Yeah, it must have been 2017, I think. But, yeah, people forget about that. People do forget about that. So, yeah, that's the reason why. Just like they couldn't get retailers and that interested. That's why the 13th Doctor TARDIS reused parts of the Classic Series box, because they couldn't get enough general retailers and that interested in it. Because basically most of them had lost faith in the brand. Which is something that has not just happened to Doctor Who merchandise, but toys in general. Ultra Marline says that they've managed to purchase the Sonic Screwdriver from the Who shop, and it's now sold out. They will get restocks, and again, it will be available elsewhere. So yeah, I'm gonna wait until that'll be something I'll buy in shop. I've always preferred to buy Doctor Who figures in shop anyway. Like, for example, the Forbidden Planet exclusive stuff, never like to get that online. Because one, it was a £5 delivery, which was ridiculous. And two, quality control and that as well. So yeah, always prefer if I can get it in a shop, I will get it in a shop. Plus, if anything goes wrong with it, it's much easier taking something something back to a shop than it is returning it online. So yeah, it's generally much easier. Just like you can get your money back or get a replacement there and then. You know, you don't have to wait about or anything. Oh, message retracted. Okay, maybe they did have more stuff. I'm starting to throw my voice a bit here. Not gonna lie. So, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, if anyone else has any more questions or anything to ask on that, please do it now, because otherwise I think I'll probably end the live stream shortly, because my voice is going. By the way, I got this in the post today. If you watch my other channel. Kristen creates, do you collect any other lines of toys other than Doctor Who? Well, let's ask 9. No, not the 9, the Collectomaniac. Let's ask Tails 9. Oh, that joke. I did that joke when I reviewed that figure on the other channel, and confused the shit out of this person who went back and forth with me, who had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. I don't know if all of yous will either. Big Finish listeners will know exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, but the answer is yes, there are. In fact, okay. There's other stuff. There's other stuff I can show. Yes, I can switch cameras. This is at my granny's apartment. There's a ton of FNAF figures just piled up. There's my Sideman head, which one day I will spree again. I will spree it again, promise. But yeah, this is. If I move out of the way, that's my old. That's my old TV. Why is it out of focus? There we go. That's my old TV that I have here at my granny's apartment, which that was worth every penny. It was from 2013. Still works perfectly. Which yeah, is amazing. There's a lot of TVs now that don't bloody last that long, including, for those who are wondering, between I think between like April, June of 2019 and I think June of July of last year, the camera I used for the majority of videos was this. This is the Panasonic G7. I did use a different microphone for that though at the time, but yeah, I just keep this here as a spare camera and that at my granny's. But God, this thing is massive. This is a proper mirrorless camera, and it weighs an absolute ton. I think I took this to Blackpool once or twice to do the search for Doctor Who memorabilia, and it absolutely did kill my wrist. Literally just going around with this with a hand grip and that, it did absolutely kill my wrist. So that is why. That was one of the reasons why I got a different camera and that. So yeah. In fact, now when I go around to the search for Doctor Who memorabilia, I do just film it on my phone. And some reason is because it's just, one, it's easier for me, and two, it's a lot easier to be discreet with a phone and that, because I don't want to film the people and that, but you know, people generally will look awkward and that about it and question. Like, it's much easier just to film like discreetly and that on a phone than it is if you've got a camera out. Even if it's an action camera, which I used for the first one. You know, that was more discreet, but even then, you know, it's just like, it's obvious in that what you're doing. So, yeah. But the answer is, yes, I do collect other toy lines, but obviously Doctor Who, and that is the main one. It's the one I have the most of. In fact, there's some other stuff on that I have back there, which I might show in a minute. Maya says, I'm hoping in that in years to come, more companies will start selling figures again. No. Well, the thing is, figures have kind of shifted now because from a kids market to a collector's market, which means the better quality, more highly detailed figures, they're made for collectors, you know, adult collectors, which means one, they're more expensive, and that, and two, there's just less of them, and they're more expensive and that to make. And also, there's less of a market. A kids market is much bigger, unfortunately. So that's just unfortunately just the way things go. Yeah. Which obviously, you know, it's a shame. It is a shame, but yeah, we'll never get back to how things and that used to be. It's just not the world we live in now. But yeah, I think is that it for questions? Is that it? Is that it? Can I rest my voice now? Oh, here we go. Christian Creates says, will other retailers like Smith sell Doctor Who after the 60th? I don't know. I don't know. And this is the thing. A lot of people ask me like I'm the arbiter of this, because like I know everything. Like, I don't know. The answer is, okay, I don't know where they're going to be sold. I don't know when they're going to be sold. That's it. I don't know. Like, the only things I know for certain is basically B&M stuff will come to be... Like, I only know stuff that is being confirmed. I only know the stuff that is being confirmed. That's it. I don't know anything else, basically. I don't have any insider knowledge or anything like that, unfortunately. I know some people who will know these things. Well, not personally, but I do know who would. Like, for example, basically anyone who has contact with Al Dwar, they will know or have a good idea of when they'll get released and where, if anything. But obviously I don't. So yeah, I don't know. I do know there is online, there's a Doctor Who fan group where one of the retail sonic screwdrivers is going to be given away by Matt Doe, formerly Toybox Treasures, who Alduar gifted him one when they went to I think they met up at a pub or somewhere. At least that's where the picture on that came from, but so I'm assuming it was at that pub. So, yeah, there we go. And hopefully I might be going to the Neil Cole Museum. Just mention that soon. Because I do have some questions asked. I might bring the new Sonic and that as well, just to show him it, see what he thinks. I don't think he's seen it, unless he's managed to get one himself. But, yeah. Yeah, so I'll give it another minute, and if we have nothing else to say, or what have you, that's not a flattering angle. If that's it, then I think I'll leave it there. I'm gonna have to suck about 50 lozenges after this. Oh, by the way, I'm just going to say this. Phone manufacturers, please bring back microSD card slots. Thank you. They aren't going to watch this. Also, here's a challenge. Try and beat the amount of not only storage, but amount of stuff I've got on my phone. Which will not focus. Can you beat that amount? Probably not, because you can't bloody see it, can you? I'm turning it up all the way. God, that looks so fucking weird. Can you beat that amount? If you can't read that amount, out of a terabyte, I've used 408 gigs. Out of the phone's internal storage, which is 256, I've used 85.85 gigabytes. Although the full backup of the phone is apparently 700 gigabytes. Somehow. That's just what it is on the backup, so yeah. If your phone has that much stuff on there, then well done. But yeah, I think we shall adjourn and that. So hope you enjoyed this live stream. That there won't be another video on that tomorrow because this is replacing that. And if you want to know the reasons why, go back and watch bits of the live stream that afterwards and everything. But yeah, basically that is it, at least for the time being. So hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye bye. Let's end this. Oh, was that one more question popping up? No? Okay, I can end it. I can end it. Where the fuck did they put the end button on this? Oh, yeah.